Hi, Anti-Society. Welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet. Today we are checking out IU's what I'm guessing is pronounced Holssi. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just an English speaker trying to do the best, okay? But from what I've been able to gather, that is the Korean word for dandelion seed. Again, perhaps I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how that will be incorporated into the overall theme and meaning of the song, but it makes me excited to check this out. It's IU. I'm always excited. Let's see what she's got for us. Ooh, okay. Now you give me a bunch of production right off the bat. Ooh, okay, first off, you can't give me basically all percussion. I cannot be expected to behave myself when you give me a song that is just basically stripped back and you've got like a good beat and some bass. That's a lot. Love the kind of almost like lazy delivery where she's like drawing out certain syllables. I think mostly on the vowels, I'd have to listen back, and putting in that vocal fry, right? So it's just adding this kind of languid, lazy feeling to the delivery. And I like that because it has this feeling of floating by. If it is a dandelion seed, right? Those are the seeds that like float around in the air and have this like languid feeling to them, at least in mine. Like they just go with the breeze and they're not necessarily taking root like she talks in this and saying, I'll bloom in the sky. So like floating by as opposed to taking root in a specific place and kind of going on a journey. I also love the follow my lead, make up pretty cute. That's so cute as well, especially since we had like shopper as well. So Q for a shop, but also the Q for like making a line to follow the leader, right? So bringing a bunch of this imagery all together with it. And I like the idea of saying I'll lay somewhere much higher, saying you're going to remain up in those heights as opposed to taking root on the ground. And this idea of, again, traveling is instead of settling in one spot, even just within this album, obviously with IU's music overall, but within this one specifically, her doing a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different vocal deliveries, a bunch of different production choices. This song doesn't sound like any of the other songs on this album so far. So her doing a little bit of everything, and even in, again, Shopper, the song that I just checked out, of her talking about, don't be afraid to go after what you want, right? This idea of treating your dreams like you're shopping, where of course you can have anything that you want, right? Like, of course you could just put it in your cart and check out and you're going to have that dream, that thing that you want, treating it that way as opposed to this kind of like wish. Again, dandelion seeds, I don't know anyone else, but you would blow on them, make a wish, right? So bringing that in as well. But this idea of, instead of just like making a wish out into like open air and hoping for the best, it's her saying, I know I'm going to get my dreams. I just have to purchase them, right? I just have to do checkout and I'm going to have them. So a similar thing here of saying I'm going to be at these heights. I'm going to continue to float up in the sky as opposed to like taking root in one specific place. I love that stutter. Love that breathier delivery, the layers. Ooh. You say who may fly, you say who then I'll fly. You say who I may fly. You say who, then I'll fly. Ooh, okay. Almost as, again, minimal in the production as well, but adding in these layered vocals, right? Having a breathier delivery, which kind of fills up some more space, and then having the layers put together, again, filling in some space in the song and the production with her voice and her performance, as opposed to relying on the production. But I also like that because you're up in the air, right? There's a bunch of empty space. Even if there's other people around, it's not as crowded as being on the ground. So I like that there's this feeling of open space in the song itself. And I also like that even without wings, rise into the air. Again, if we're talking, it says spore in this. I'm thinking of like a similar thing. I don't know if it's specifically a dandelion seed or if it's just spore in general, like a seed that floats through the air. And this idea of floating by without wings. And again, adding into that bit of a more laid back delivery here because that isn't with directionality, right? Like a bird has wings, it has intention, it's flying in a specific direction, as opposed to a spore or a seed that's just like floating on the wind and having a little more like carefree freedom to it. I also like the idea that it's a seed too, right? That's something that hasn't bloomed yet, right? Even in the lyrics talking about I will bloom in the sky, of saying even though she's had all the success, she's had this super long career up to the point of this song coming out, she's still like seeing herself as this almost beginning point, this potential, this almost like mystery of what is to come next, like what she will bloom into. It's so interesting to have that slowdown though in a bunch of her delivery. Before, instead of she was elongating certain vowels, but she was having a bit of a choppier delivery in between them, adding this kind of lazy, laid back delivery to her vocals. And then in the pre-chorus, feeling far more in that like breathier, like legato kind of delivery to it. I don't even know how far I want to go back. I just know that I want to listen to it again. I just keep rewinding. More closure there going into the chorus with her vocals. And then those contrasting lines. Not you pulling back even more with stuff in the production, and then like her faster cadence. Right now she's not elongating those vowels as much, so there's a bit of a faster cadence to her delivery. Love that as well, but still in this like vocal fry, very like she's not pushing, she's not belting, she's not trying to fill up a huge space, right? So there's this feeling of almost pulling us in, again, this strange feeling of open space in the air, but then feeling of almost like pulling us in for a secret, right? There's almost this like whisper feeling to it. But then when we have these vocalizations, when she goes up at the like end of this, where she's talking about rise up into the air, having a little bit more power behind the vocals and letting them open up a lot. I love just the vocal dynamics in this, especially since the production is really pulled back, that a lot of this is focused on the storytelling of her vocal performance.
You say who? And I fly. 널 쏘게 날아줄게 한가운데 시력을 위해 꼭 추천한 선글라스 올려보면 눈부셔 고소공포 하나 또 안 모셔.
Oh, that fall off in the vocals.
거리까지 올라가는 무심히 내려보리 구름을 골라 타 간날에 한바탕 싹 어질러볼까.
Do not giggle at me, okay? I was already like, hang on, we're getting almost like a melodic rap, almost in the realm of like mumble rap cadence from IU of all people. And I know that she's done like a lot of different things in her discography, but that is all, look, as somebody who biases rappers all the time, you can't be doing that, okay? I'm already hopelessly smitten. I think all of us, don't we all have a little bit of a crush on IU to some extent? But you can't deliver like that. And then that little laugh at the end, that little like chuckle. No, I'm gonna listen to it again though. I'm just, hey. Love that I'm not afraid of heights at all. No. I also like that might as well cause a ruckus. I like that too. It's just, it's so pulled back, like subdued. Love all the layered vocals in the back too. Ooh, okay, before you're breaking down with all the drums and stuff coming in. Love that little flip up too. Little break in her voice. Those are some interesting synths. Those drums are intense for no reason. I mean, there is a reason, but like,
앞길이만 많지 않아도 엄살은 들어 내 선택이 하늘 그래듯이 쉴 확률은 zero
hey, look, not to interrupt, ma'am, but this was my choice. It always has been. Look, just like the confidence radiating off of this album, not just in terms of like her saying going after her dreams, or other people should also be encouraged to go after their dreams, but there's so much creativity in this kinds of stuff that she's touching on. I feel like she just has so much experience in the music industry that it's leaking through in everything, not just in terms of the creativity of it, but also like the perspectives that she has, like the advice in this, right? The whole album is called The Winning, right? So there's already like confidence coming from that of saying I'm clearly successful, I'm clearly winning, I'm clearly like someone who's talented and knows what they're doing when it comes to their career. So I love getting that confidence radiating through it, but also this feeling of, again, follow me, which is coming up a bunch in this song, this feeling of her kind of passing some of that knowledge forward. And you're talking to up and coming artists and younger generations and talking about some of her experience, but through this light of like optimism and confidence. And doesn't mean that she hasn't struggled, doesn't mean that she hasn't done things or had things happen to her that aren't necessarily good or positive, or things that she's not regretful having happened, but she's choosing to see it through this positive lens in this, of this encouragement and positivity and winning. And I think that it's so interesting to see how she's taking that from like a bunch of different angles throughout all of these songs, drastically different sonically, but this one feeling very much like don't stress yourself out so much. Like, I feel like so many people who start in any kind of career or field or anything, I think there's so much anxiety when you get to, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, which is like being a little bit generous sometimes with people who are debuting in the K-pop industry, but that's a conversation we can have later. But there's so much like anxiety and pressure and this need to prove oneself, right? There's this, like this intense energy of having to prove oneself. And I like the vibe of this, of being like, hey, it's fine, just relax. Let the wind carry you. It'll all work out. This feeling of her being like, hey, I can just sit back and relax now. I've done all the hard work. I've done all of the anxiety. It doesn't mean that she doesn't still work hard, but it's like, hey, I've earned my place at this point. Let me pass down some knowledge. And some of that is sometimes you just need to give yourself some space. Sometimes you just need to go with the flow for a little bit. Sometimes you just need to have fun with it. And I think that this song has so much fun, like little vocal performances and stuff in it, that it just has this feeling of whimsy and almost like romanticizing the experience, right? As opposed to letting it pull you down, weigh you down, and just letting yourself go with the flow a little bit, right? Letting it be easy. I think that's something that so many of us struggle with. I say that as a perfectionist myself. Sometimes you just gotta let it be easy and not be like, this can only matter if it's difficult, right? So I like that there's some of that vibe leaking through, and the production, the vocal performance, and the lyrics of this. Even though the road ahead won't be easy, but I'm not gonna stress about it. See, that's so much fun. And that's how you end the song, is that like glitch, but also see ya. That's such a good way to end the song too. That, again, so much fun and not taking it too seriously. And even though she's, hey, the road ahead won't be easy, but I've chosen this, right? I've decided that this is what I want to do, and that's my decision. And just because there will be struggles doesn't mean that it isn't worth doing, even though like I'll leave everything I have left to you. Again, it has this feeling of passing down experience to people who are up and coming in the industry, right? Passing on knowledge, passing on experience, being like, hey, here's some advice from someone who's been doing this a while. And she started really young, right? So when she sees younger people in the industry, she has an idea of what it is like to be super young in this industry. So I like that this whole album has that kind of feeling of, let me bestow to you some advice, some knowledge, some experience, and also be like, bye, I have to go off and do other things. Like I have to reach greater heights. And again, this image of a seed, of a spore, of a beginning point still, of her saying, I will bloom at some point. And I love having that energy of, I still have more creativity in me. I still have future projects. I still have ambitions. I just also accept that I have earned my place in this part of the industry, and as somebody who can give advice and who can pass down experience and like mentorship in a lot of ways, right? Such an interesting song too, so pulled back in some of the production elements, but I think that it just really let her voice have some fun on this one. Apparently this video has some kind of connection or partnership with Looney Tunes and Tweety because of the thumbnail and also the hashtags. And I don't know what to do with that information other than be like, it fits into my don't take things so seriously feeling that I was getting, like this idea of just having fun and going with the flow, because Looney Tunes is comedic cartoon, been around for a while, usually supposedly for children, though I think there is some debate there given some of the content that those episodes have. Also, Tweety is a bird, so flight, air. I talked about birds in the lyric video. I don't know, I'm just gonna let it play and see what happens. We're starting in a free fall, so that's something. Oh dear. Oh, that makes the tree hugger and me very anxious. I just noticed the, like, air balloon. Okay, so it... Wow, I wasn't expecting the giant inflatable, but I noticed we had the yellow air balloon, and I'm like, okay, yellow, Tweety, but then we do have the, like, dandelion seeds, so perhaps I was right in my finding of translations. I just noticed that we have palm trees. Is this filmed in America? Ooh, okay, first off, I need her to not look at me like that. Love that we got the fuzzy sweater because birds and stuff. Looks like we got dancers though. Love that, like, form a cue. No, don't look at me like that. Ooh, that's a cool shot. The camera on the cart. See, that says dandelion. We had spore before. I think I'm onto something. Look at me go. Sometimes I can be prepared before I show up, but I don't know what's happening with this cart. It's moving in strange ways. Are we controlling it in some way? Also, is this a dance crew or is it just dancers that were selected for this particular performance? Just wondering, just asking. Because it's like moving helically. Ooh, wow. That's a cool effect. Whoa, trippy. Ooh, good transition of showing up into the air and then down again. The like bringing the cart. Ma'am, and you should not look at me like that. But again, I was comparing to Shopper before. We literally have a shopping cart. Just saying. It's trippy with the like slightly deflated humans. 올려보면 눈부셔 고소공포 하나 또 안 모셔 따가운 태양과 무지 가까운 거리까지 올라가는 무심히 내려보리 구름을 골라타 간만에 한바탕 싹 어질러볼까. No, ma'am, it's unfair for her to perform like that. Who's looking through the window? Also, I noticed that she has like the mascara on her eyes. One is like red and one is white, which is interesting. In the other outfit, this one. See, like, I noticed from a different light that this one's red and then we have that, like, white on the other side. Anyway. Okay, so it was before about we talked about, like, passing it on to younger generations. Now we got kids. That's not scary. Are we gonna dance? Like we had the dancers before we get into it, but we had the dancers before, and now we have the younger kids coming in. I think that's cute too. Like I was talking about passing on knowledge and passing on experience and being like, hey, I leave everything to you while I'm going to go and try other things and do other stuff and like, take this advice and hopefully it helps you in whatever you're doing. I wish you luck. So having like actual kids be part of the music video is really cool. Having that representation of them all coming out and like also in this kind of quirky, imaginative way of coming out of like the box where you've cut out the eye holes or like coming out of in between the couch cushions and all of those things that I think only kids could really think of or accomplish, of all the weird places that they get into and the imaginations and like where that takes them and how they come at things in different ways than you would as an adult, right? Because they have so much imagination and creativity in them because they're not worried about being like realistic or being judged or being told that they can't do something, right? So I love having some of that kind of, the whole video is like a little bit weird, but I think that all fits together into the overall theme of, hey, just do your own thing, go with the flow, do what feels right to you, and don't stress so much about what people are going to think or what's going to happen. Just let yourself have fun, let yourself go after the things that are of interest to you, and let yourself dream in a lot of ways too. Like they're all just super different too, right? We got like uniforms, sporting uniforms. That's cute. Cute. I don't know why the strange inflatable people, other than I guess going with the flow. I wasn't expecting some kind of animation. The person that we saw before at the beginning. That's cute, like a kite. Uh-oh. Or balloon? Kite or balloon? Even the, like, not even looking at the camera, I don't think she did. At her last line. She looks... Yeah, she says, see ya, and then she looks up again like she's not even paying attention to what's happening here on the ground. It's like all about what's happening up in the sky instead. Interesting. Oh, we got more. Balloon. I mean, I noticed the other balloon that's still there. Of all the credits. I definitely feel like there's some kind of control on the shopping cart. I don't know why we had Looney Tunes or Tweety Bird in connection to this. It was really just like at the beginning. But what I do think is fascinating, I was thinking at the end, is that we never see IU herself leave the ground, which I think is interesting because a lot of the song narratively is about flying up in the sky and like being this like seed floating on the breeze and being in those heights and stuff. And then the actual music video, it's her helping everyone else reach those heights and defy gravity as opposed to her herself, which I think is fascinating as well. Cute though. I feel like this music video wasn't quite as dense as some of the other ones on this release, but I think that's the point, right? Like I was saying before, like there's this laid back, relaxed feeling to the song and the lyrics and the delivery of it that putting in too much complicated storytelling stuff would be against the whole point of the song, which is, hey, just try, right? Like this idea of go after what is interesting to you, what inspires you, what sparks that interest. And the road ahead won't be easy, but that doesn't mean that it isn't worth doing. And if it's your choice, then you should go for it and you should see what heights you can reach and go after the things that are like easy and, or like the things that feel easy to commit yourself to, right? I think that's something that so many people talk about, is that there's lots of things in this life that take lots of work, but if you're excited to put in that work, then it's worth it. I just something because I have a background in performance, and I remember people talking to me when I was going into post-secondary and very much going into a field that was not performance, and people being surprised that I wasn't going to be doing a performance thing. And it all really whittled down to the fact that performance takes a lot of work. And while I like the idea of getting to an end point of performing on stages in front of lots of people, I like the idea of that, all of the work that goes into getting there is not something that I am super motivated to be doing, because there's a lot of work in between those 2 points of wanting to perform in front of a crowd and actually being able to do that. I think that this song kind of touches on that, of follow the things that, even though it is going to take a lot of work, even though it's not going to be easy, are things that you're super motivated and excited to do. Like, even when it is difficult, you still want to sit down and get the work done. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's a cute song. I love all the percussion stuff in it, and I love the little dance stuff. I like passing it on to the next generation with all of the kids joining in dancing and her dancing with them, which is what she did with the like grown-ups dancing. And it looks like they were having a lot more fun with the kids doing the dancing as well. Like, they had the bright colored outfits, different types of outfits, smiling, as opposed to the like darker outfits, more serious expressions that we had with the grown-up dancers that were performing. So I think that it's just a fun little pass off of, hey, you get to now try things and be like the creative spark for what's next in whatever field you're working in. Super fun song. You're gonna give me a bunch of prominent production and a rap cadence in a lower register from IU. That's really all I want in the song. And I think that it has so much whimsy and like optimism, and again, like understanding that you've earned your place somewhere, even if it's IU who has been in this industry for a long time, or it's people who haven't gotten started properly yet, right? Like people who haven't fully committed to contributing to a field. Like, we had these very young kids in the music video, right? Those aren't people who are going forward into a career yet. They just have like dreams and creativity and all of that. So saying, like, hey, even if you haven't made your mark yet, you still deserve to try. I think that so many of us, again, speaking as a perfectionist, talk ourselves out of doing stuff because we're like, am I good enough? The imposter syndrome starts to sink in, and we don't end up trying because we don't think that we have what it takes. So I think that there's so much of the song that's saying, hey, just let yourself have it. Same thing with Shopper of, hey, let yourself have your dreams. Even though it's going to take work, it's not going to necessarily be easy, but let it be something that isn't going to stress you out, right? Let it not be something that is going to tear apart your creativity or your motivation or your imagination. So I think that there's so many fun things that are kind of incorporated into the song. And I feel like, having already listened to a bunch of this album, this song kind of pulls a bunch of those threads together in a really nice way as she continues to build up the blocks of what this album is going to be. But I loved the song. I think it's so much fun. I think that there's so many little things in the vocal performance and the vocal layering that are really cool, and the music video is a tad strange, but also, given all of the stuff that has happened in the music videos for this release, like, not the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Certainly not the weirdest thing I've ever seen in a music video in general, but I'm just curious about the connection with Looney Tunes, of like how and why that happened in particular, other than just like, sponsorship things. I don't know. If anyone has any background on that, definitely let me know, but I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click this playlist to go to my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss next time I post an IU reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.